Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So before I tell you what's going on in this episode, I had to say that the support on the previous video where I did the seatbelts and the headliner and stuff was just unbelievable. I was blown away by it. I don't know if it's whatever tags that I put in the video or if the video got shared somewhere or something like that, but it went from maybe 12 or 15 hours after it was uploaded, had 75, maybe 80 views, something like that. And as of right now, it has like 2,500 views, and I've gotten I think it was 54 or it's 55 subscribers in the last 2 or 3 days. That's absurd. So if you're one of those new subscribers, thanks for subscribing, following along. We'll have a lot more Polo content coming in the next couple of weeks. But for now, again, thanks for the support. Hopefully we can keep that ball rolling with this project. So for today, what we're going to do is wheels, tyres and coilovers. I've had the wheels for a couple of months. I got an incredible deal off the homie Sean on some wheels, and I have the coilover since a couple of days after I bought the car. So excited to get this thing on some nice wheels and get a couple of inches closer to the ground. Alright, so here they are. As you can see, the brand there, FK. I've never heard of them before. They're supposed to be pretty reasonable for the money, for what they are. Not the most expensive thing in the world, but certainly not the cheapest. I suppose a couple of steps above the cheapest. But anyway, 2 fronts, 2 rears. The only thing I wish I had kind of considered and done a bit more research on was to get a set that you can thread the body down into the clamp into that piece there, but it's not that big of a deal really, you know. I don't think it'll be an issue. What I have seen people doing with these, if they want to get super low, is you can take out that helper spring, which will move the main spring down that already probably 3 inches there, and you can also take out that bottom lock and collar and a couple of things like that. Or say you take out that one and let the spring sit on that one, you would save yourself about 5 mil there as well, if you really wanted to. But I think because the car is so clean underneath and such low mileage, I don't want to be smashing the bottom of it off the ground, you know. But I guess how low we go will be dictated by the tyre, and we'll know that later on. We'll be able to kind of tweak it from there. But what I'm going to do for now, say for argument's sake, I'm going to measure probably whatever that is there, do the same here, measure, you know, equal them all out roughly, fit them to the car and just see where they land, I suppose. So for now, let's get the Polo up into the air. I'll give you a quick look at how tidy this thing is underneath, and we'll pull the factory shocks out. So as you've seen, we've got the two fronts out and stripped apart. Now I paid attention to the order in which all of this stuff comes off, just so I knew what way it goes back on the FK coilovers. So now those two nuts there were supposed to be on that, but I took them off earlier and forgot to put them back on. But anyway, so I knew I didn't need the little spring hash or whatever you want to call it there, because there's this one that comes on the coilover, but I wasn't sure whether I just go straight for the rubber mount or what, the top mount, whatever you want to call it, or this little, I didn't realize that it was a bearing. I knew it's span free obviously, but obviously it is a bearing. I guess it's just to stop noise when you're turning the car as the shock turns. So what we got to do now is get that bearing on, then the top mount, then wind it back down. I'm going to use the factory nuts that come with it just because I may as well, because they're in good condition. Put the shock up through the body, put this little guy on, and then tighten the whole lot back down again, and that's the front's pretty much done. So we'll throw the two of those back in and then we'll move on to the rears. it looks so good sitting on the floor. Wow, I'm not sitting on the floor. It's not super, super low, I mean, but compared to how it was, my goodness. Wow. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm so tempted to bring it for a drive and just see how it feels. If I'm going to be banging on speed bumps and stuff like that. But again, I don't remember exactly what I know what size tires I ordered and the size of the wheels and stuff, but I don't remember if I took a measurement against what I have there to just for a visual reference. But oh, it's so cool. It looks so good. Oh, I love it. Look at that little thing. That's so cool. Okay, let's go get wheels and tires. Options for the wheels in regards to fitment. The original wheel I think is 4.5 inch wide, or maybe 5, I don't remember off the top of my head, but these are 5.5 wide plus something, I don't know. So we could try them just as they are. I've had them on the car before but with no tires, so it's obviously kind of hard to get a visual of how they look, so we'll try them with no spacer at all. Then I have some 5mm spacers which you could double up just for testing purposes and make a 10mm spacer if you really wanted to. I have two 20s and I have two 25s. Now I ordered them from the same fella. He didn't have 4 25s, he had two 25s and two 20s. So I figure if 25 is the number, which according to my calculations it should be, I can always add those to those and make two 25s, if that makes sense. I've got extended wheel nuts, or wheel bolts, sorry, as well. So I guess we're going to try them just as they are. We're going to raw dog it first and see how it looks. Okay, so we've had the first attempt of fitting the wheels. I think they look absolutely wicked on it. They look so cool. The only issue, and I do remember this from test fitting a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago should I say, the back one definitely needs at the bare minimum a 5mm spacer, because the dust cap there for the, what do you call it, the handbrake drum, sorry, sticks out too far and doesn't allow you to put the center cap on the wheel, and I can't not put the center cap on it because that looks stink. So definitely need some kind of spacer there. And then I don't remember if I didn't discover this or if I just forgot, but on the front the wheel ever so slightly fouls on the caliper. It will turn a littlest bit, but even if it did turn, it then fouls on the spring thing for the brake pad there, which I guess if you really wanted to you could chop that off or whatever, but at a minimum you'd need a 5mm spacer there as well. But I think we're just going to go ahead and go with the stick a 20mm spacer on each side, see what that looks like, maybe drive it, but at the very least see if it'll turn lock to lock, make sure we're not fouling on anything, and we'll figure out the rest from there. We'll keep fine-tuning. There'll be a little bit of fine-tuning between the spacers, the height of the car, all that kind of stuff. It'll take a little bit of messing around, but we'll figure it out. Alright, so we've got the 20mm on the back, or on this side. and I really like the look of it from there. Keep in mind I will be taking off the mud flap as well, so I think it'll look a little bit nicer than that. But as it sits there, I think it looks really good from a looking down the side kind of point of view. It doesn't, there's loads of room up here. Now I haven't, you know, bounced it up and down or anything, but I think we'd get away with it. The 25 might come out a little bit too much and might start to catch the arch or something, but the car can always be lifted a little bit if we want to. The only issue, and I think I remember again discovering this when I was doing testing last year, the 20mm spacer with the extended wheel bolts, the wheel bolts go through just a little bit too much and they foul on, say, the springs and the handbrake shoes and stuff inside the drum. So for example, it'll turn maybe a third of a turn and then get caught up on those. So obviously you can't roll it like that because it'll make bits of everything that's inside the drum. So I figure we'll try the 25mm spacer, and if the 25mm clears all up there, or, you know, at least isn't too bad, then we'll go with that. Failing that, we'll go back to the 20mm. I'll pull out those studs, and I could probably get away with chopping, say, the last 5mm off those and get them a nice flush fit, and just be careful when I'm putting them on and torquing them and all that stuff. But again, as for a fitment point of view with the 20mm, I think they look really nice. Looks pretty good down. It's a little bit too kind of cambered there, and it probably could do with the extra 5mm there at the front. But if it ends up looking kind of like too cambered, I don't want it to be super, you know, tilted in at the front. I could always just drill out the bottom hole of the coilover a bit and just pull it back out a bit, or push it in whatever way you want to word it. But yeah, so I like the 20mm, but I'm a little bit worried about the issue at the back there with the handbrake shoe, or the handbrake drum, I mean. But let's take them back off again, try the 25s, and we start fine tuning it. Oh, it looks so cool. So that's the 25mm spacers on the front and the back, and camber wise we're a little in, well, we're quite a bit in on the front. Again, that can be addressed, but I don't think it's that much to really worry about. At the back, you have no issues or no concerns at all up there. I still have loads of room there. I could even come down another ½ inch if I wanted to. Looking down the side of the car, I think the fitment looks really, really nice. Oh, I'm very, very pleased with it. I think 25mm all around is the winner. Just in fairness, that's kind of how I calculated it. But I mean, you never know until you see it right in front of you with tyres on. But oh, I think the fitment, that's perfect. It's a shame the wheels aren't actually that wide, but it looks absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to lift it up, hopefully, if the lift lifts, put the 25s on all four corners, pull it out back into the front of the shed here, and we'll get a proper look around it. Oh, it looks so cool. So happy. Look how good it looks. Oh wow, absolutely fantastic. I was confident it did look good on those wheels, just because there's something different than what you normally see. Like most of the time you see on German cars, people put BBS wheels and power bits and all that kind of stuff, but I knew they'd look nice just being something different, but I didn't think they'd look that cool on it. Wow, I'm so happy with it. It looks absolutely incredible. Wow. So good. Camber's not really that crazy either on the front. Like, I could tilt it out a small bit, a little bit of adjustment, but if it starts to chew up tires, then I'll do that. But for now, I'm not really too bothered. God, look at the way it sits and everything. Is absolutely brilliant. Right, I'm gonna open up the door, bring it for a little drive, and we'll see how it drives. So we're back from driving it. it went really good. It went really good. It drives really nice. I expected it to be kind of stiff and a bit bouncy, because usually once you put coilovers, or once you lower a car at all in any way, shape or form really, it gets a bit stiffer and you're kind of getting bounced around in a little bit, but it doesn't drive that much different than it did with the factory shocks, to tell you the truth. It even drives nice and straight. Now I'll still have it aligned, like, but I thought with it being lowered and stuff, it might need, the steering wheel might be off center or something like that, but it's not. It's absolutely fine. Drove really nice. There's a bit of a lip from my driveway excuse me, down onto the road. It's about 1 inch or so, and when I came down off that, it rubbed on that back corner the littlest bit. I mean, a tiny amount. And over some of the large bumps between here and where I took it for a drive, there's a roundabout near, brings you onto the motorway, not far from my house. Drove it around there, and even on some of the larger bumps, it didn't rub on it, and some of the small bumps it did. So I would probably put that down to just the weight of me being on that side of the car, the fact that it was rubbing there. Now obviously if you'd people in the back or a boot full of stuff, it'll rub more. If I really wanted to, a few things I could do to combat that would be swap out the tyre, put a different size tyre on it, which I'm not going to do now because those tyres are brand new. That's unnecessary expense. I've read before, you can kind of move where the hub bolts onto the axle, and you can shim it with washers or shim plates or whatever, to give it a bit of camber. I'm not going to do that either. I could obviously lift the car, but I don't want to do that because I like how it sits. I could take out the 5mm spacer that's in there with the 20mm and bring the wheel in that extra 5mm more, and shorten the bolts, like I said, so it's not fouling on the handbrake stuff, but I don't particularly want to do that. And the last thing I could do is roll the arch, but again, it's such a small amount that it's rubbing that I'm not worried about it. So maybe down the line I'll keep an eye on it and see, but for now it drives really nice and it looks really cool, and I'm very pleased. So I'm going to end this episode here. Thanks everybody for watching. You can follow me on Instagram, and we'll be back soon for part 3. Peace.